Asking prices on investment properties here in Utah have not changed in the last couple of months. This is something that's very surprising to see because of the interest rates going up over the past 6 to 9 months. We would have expected prices to come down in equal amount to offset that in order for those properties to still make sense. The thing with investment properties is when you go and value that property, with the smaller ones, you're actually valuing it based on what the property is worth, right? That could be the land, that could be the building, that could be what it actually has there on the property, or you're valuing it based on what it can actually provide as an income producing property. Now, the problem with this is there's actually insane asking prices and they really haven't changed at all. I've been tracking this information for the past 4 months, and during that time, I haven't seen any dramatic changes to prices when it comes to investment properties. We're still seeing roughly the same amount of properties come onto the market. We're still seeing some of them sell, and we're still seeing a lot of them just sit on the market. The properties that are selling are usually from the people who are out there with 1031 exchange money, or they just want to park some cash into a property, have it cash flow a little bit, and they're not too concerned about maximizing the return that they get on that property. Right now, most of the people who are purchasing these properties are getting like 3, 4, maybe even 5% cash on cash return. The highest one I saw was 6%, which is okay. It's not amazing. It's not something that I would personally be going after, but for some people that just makes sense, right? It's enough money to put into a property, store it away. They're making a little bit of money and they don't really have to worry about it. And they have some sort of a hedge against this crazy inflation that we're seeing at these times. So with that being said, I just want to cover some of the different things that we're seeing in the market and kind of how all of this plays together. If you're an investor in this market, you're going to want to know this information. I'm an investor myself. I have over 20 rental units here in Utah. Most of them are here in Salt Lake. And I actually, see a lot of this firsthand. The investing side of real estate is actually my bread and butter. That's the thing I love the most and love talking about it. So some things I want to cover here. Like we said, prices are not coming down on these properties and sellers are still asking outrageous amounts. The reason for this is that rents have actually risen quite a bit in recent years, which is then pushing values up even further. In addition to this, just like you would expect in a normal market, every investor, every owner who owns these properties, they're trying to get the maximum price for their property, right? A lot of them are, the mindset that I'm seeing from them is basically, hey, if I'm going to sell my property, I want to be able to maximize the amount that I get for it, or else I'm not going to sell it. And the reality of this is, I think if you or I were in that same position, we'd be saying that exact same thing. So you really have to kind of find, if you're looking to be a buyer in this market, you really kind of have to find that owner who actually has some motivation. Maybe they need to cash out because there was a death in the family, or maybe there was, they need to cash out to move on to do a 1031 exchange into a bigger property. I don't know what that might be, but you're looking for somebody who actually has some motivation and is willing to sell the property at a much more realistic price for an investor to get a decent return. A lot of the owners who own these properties are trying to price their properties based off of what the value should be based on increased rents. I just saw a property the other day. It needed about $50,000 to $70,000 worth of work to get it updated and renovated, and that would increase the rents by about $400 to $500 per month on those units. However, with the price that they were asking, plus the cost of that remodel, plus the cost of a couple months of vacancy, there was no way this deal made sense, yet they were trying to price it as if those rents had already been established on that property, right? Those higher rents. So these are the types of things that we're seeing in this market, and it just doesn't make sense. And you know what they say, guys? If it doesn't make sense, then it doesn't make dollars. So overall, where do we actually see this market going? I think prices are going to have to come down going into 2023. If interest rates remain where they're at or even higher, I think we're going to see prices start to come down on these investment properties. However, I don't expect that much of a difference unless there's a huge change in the overall economy. If unemployment shoots up and people start losing their jobs and there starts to be vacancies or evictions on a lot of these investment properties, I think landlords might get a little bit more motivated to sell those properties. But if assuming, kind of the market's good, the economy kind of stays flat, maybe we go into a light recession or whatever, I do expect that prices will come down, but probably only maybe 5 to 10% at most on these investment properties. A lot of these landlords who own the homes don't actually need to sell the property. They've benefited from the increased rents, and they're also locked in on a very low interest rate from having refinanced, 2 or 3 years ago when interest rates were extremely low, much lower than they are today. So those investors, those homeowners are cash flowing pretty handsomely on these properties and therefore don't have a ton of motivation in order to get them sold. Now, with that being said, there are still real estate deals out there and you are still able to find 12, 15, 18% cash on cash returns if you find the right deal. Now, most of these deals, in fact, almost all of them are happening off market. I've actually picked up my last couple of properties from the MLS, so you can find good deals on there, but a lot of the best deals in the market right now are trading hands off market. This is something that I have access to. So if you're looking at purchasing a property here in Utah, you're looking at investment property, whether you live here, you live out of state, whatever it might be, I would love to help you with that. I've got access to almost every single wholesaler out there who is finding these properties. They're talking directly to the owners and putting together these deals at better prices than what you're going to see on the open market. So if you want to get access to that type of information, reach out to me. My information is here on the screen. Call, text, or email anytime. Let's have a chat about what type of property you're looking for, and that way I can keep an eye out for you. Now, with that being said, if you are in the market trying to buy something, you have to be ready to go. You have to have the cash on the sidelines. You have to be pre-qualified. You need to be able to pull the trigger very quickly, because if a good deal does come up, it is going to sell very quickly. The properties that we're seeing on the open market are still having some competition. So anytime you can get something for 15, 20, 25% below market value, there's definitely going to be some competition on it, and you have to move quickly. I absolutely love talking about this stuff, guys. And if you do too, please consider subscribing to the channel. You can click that button down below to stay updated when I release these future videos about real estate here in Utah. Thanks for watching.